Adventure riding, it is catching on in India, isn't it? A lot of it is thanks to the fact that we now have several economically priced ADVs in our market, and they are easy to maintain as well. So a very fun side of motorcycling is now more accessible to a lot more people. This happens to be the most affordable one in our market, the Xpulse 200. So we lived with one for some months to find out if it really is that fun off-roader and if it really is that versatile all-rounder machine that it clearly promises to be. Hero MotoCorp really isn't a stranger to loose gravel surfaces. Its very first motorcycle after its divorce from Honda was in fact the Xpulse, which had quite the dirt bike appeal to it. Some were disheartened about the discontinuation of the Xpulse, but then Hero added the X to its Pulse and made it better. You already know a lot about the Xpulse 200 by now, but let me quickly walk you through it. In its BS6 version, it is powered by the same engine, same displacement. We did see some changes like to the exhaust, and it has an oil cooler. So transiting from BS4 to BS6, it did lose some power, down from 18.4 to 17.8, and the torque is down from 17.1 to 16.45 Newton meters. And it gained 3 kilograms of weight. But then these changes would perhaps account for a wee bit of drop in 0 to 60 or 0 to 100 sprint times, which is really not worth complaining about. So, moving on. What we really want from this motorcycle are things like, does it really make off-roading fun? Does it make office commutes easy as well? Whether or not it is comfortable for long distances. So the answer is yes, yes, and a soft no. It is a lightweight motorcycle that offers very accessible power figures, so much so that you could be fresh into off-roading and yet not have a pant-wetting moment on your very first day. So there is enough suspension travel. The way you're sitting on it, the way you're standing on the foot pegs, if you choose to, is absolutely brilliant. The suspension is set up just right on this bike for off-roading. Even if you're not trail riding or on an off-road dirt track, if you find a messy, rough patch on a highway or in the city, the Xpulse makes that bad section of the road much less saddening, because you can just keep going and others have to slow right down. That was about off-roading, about office commutes, riding it every single day, using it for city riding. Would you ride a motorcycle that has a dirt bike appeal to it with, say, office attire on or casuals? I say, why the heck not? The Xpulse 200, by the way, I think is a really cool looking motorcycle, and it offers very nippy handling through traffic as well. The gear shifts are smooth. I wouldn't say that the gearbox does not feel clanky ever, but then they are as swift and precise as you need them to be. No complaints there. Braking on this motorcycle, although not very instant, I would say that I am perfectly happy with it. It does not get a dual channel ABS, but I would say for a motorcycle like this, for these kind of power figures, you would perhaps not miss it. I mean, I didn't. Now it's about the seat height, which is well above 800 mm, which could be daunting for some. But believe me, I am 5'5", which is not exactly a tall number, but then I have never really had any problems on this motorcycle because it is a very lightweight one. When you're handling it, and not just while riding through city traffic, while pulling it in and out of parking, it's never really a problem. And if I say that I think it's a light motorcycle, a lot of you will find it quite alright as well. Now, speaking of city riding, a very important aspect, very relevant to a lot of us, is fuel economy. And I am very delighted to tell you that the Xpulse 200 will give you about 40 kilometers to a liter in the city. Take it on the highway while touring and the number will be about 45-47 to a liter. And these numbers are pretty good for a 200cc motorcycle, because it gives you, with the 13-liter fuel tank, it gives you around 520 kilometers of range in the city, which I think is a very good number. And what makes city riding even better on this motorcycle is the right side of the instrument cluster. It has navigation on the go, which is quite a sought after feature these days. Now, Hero Ride Guide, that is the application that you download on your smartphone, connected to your motorcycle, and you've got turn-by-turn navigation right in front of you. The number of times I've been lost in central Delhi is not funny, but on the Xpulse it never really happens because the navigation app is quite accurate. You get arrows and distances well before you have to take a turn and really helps you out with navigating through the city. About touring though. While the BS6 version of the Xpulse 200 definitely feels a lot more refined than the previous version did, and this motorcycle now sits at speeds of 80 to 90 kmph with a lot more comfort than before. The only trouble is this narrow thing right here. It has a very slim seat, which is brilliant for off-roading because it gives you grip while you're standing on the foot pegs, but spending long hauls on this seat, not so much. But then it could be different for you. So I reckon the Xpulse 200 would make someone a great first bike ever, or a first off-road bike ever, or even if they need it just for commutes, or if they need it as a designated bike for trails and off-road tracks only. And for the ones who want more from its off-road character, there's also the rally kit with higher ground clearance and knobby tires and everything. And all this at a price tag of about Rs 1,15,000 ex-showroom. Now, considering how much this motorcycle has on offer, how versatile it is, and how easy it makes things, how welcoming it makes off-roading to someone who's not very familiar with it, makes it one of the best value for money machines out there. I spent a few months with this one and am perfectly convinced that the Xpulse 200 is definitely worth living with. Show some support, hit like, consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.